around 10 plus years of experience, and I hope everybody is comfortable with English and Telugu. Yes. Okay. So as you have completed your graduation recently, it is highly recommended for you to get into the corporate world and corporate culture. Okay, if you are not uncomfortable, or if you're not comfortable speaking in English or learning something in English, get used to it. ఎందుకంటే మీరు నేర్చుకోకపోతే ఇట్స్ యూ హూ విల్ బీ ఇన్ అండర్ ప్రెషర్. ఓకే, కార్పొరేట్ కల్చర్లో యూ నెవర్ నో హూ ఈజ్ యువర్ కొలీగ్స్. దే మైట్ బి సంబడి ఫ్రమ్ నార్త్ ఇండియా, దే మైట్ బి సంబడి ఫ్రమ్ తమిళనాడు. సో వీ డు నాట్ నో ద లాంగ్వేజ్ టు స్పీక్ విత్ అవర్ కొలీగ్స్. సో ట్రై టు లెర్న్, try to grasp as much as possible so that you will grow and your career will light up. So okay, so first question I just wanted to ask all of you, why Power BI? Do you know anything about Power BI? Have you heard anything about Power BI?
Representation of data.
Representation of data. Anybody? It works in business analytics. Okay, nice, very good. Anyone? No. Okay, so both are partially correct. So Mastan, Sharath. Okay, Sharath and Mastan have a little idea. That is good. So I won't blame you. It's completely natural, because when I was trying to learn Power BI or SQL BI, I was also like, it was unknown forest to me. So it is completely fine. So for example, let's say I have given you a certain amount of data, and you will try to find a pattern, you will try to find a story about it, right? For example, let's say you are given a pocket money in your college, correct? And in order to track your expenses, you will have to think of something, right? How much I spent on my clothes, how much I spent on my food, how much I spent on my parties with friends, right? So how much I spent on certain trips. Okay, so based on that, you will be able to take a decision, correct? For example, you have been given your pocket money is around 2,000. Okay, this month your expenses went up to 4,000. So with this data analysis, you will go back to your home and you will ask your mom or dad, stating that 2,000 is not enough, I want 4,000, correct?
Yes.
So without the understanding of your past data, will you be able to come to a conclusion that I need this much amount of money for my future expenses for this month's pocket money? No. So Power BI is the simplest form to put this, to take a business decision. So if you see this piece of paper, so this is a small task to make you understand what Power BI can do. Okay, so ee sheet lo meeku you are able to see the country, product, units sold, sale price, so on, so right?
Yes, sir.
So if I ask you, can you calculate the complete sales for the country Germany? It's a simple task. I don't want exact numbers, but just go through that. Okay, let's rephrase the question. It is taking a little time. Can you identify how many entries for the country Germany in that sheet? 9 sheets? Who answered that first? Raise your hand, it's okay. 9, what's your name? Anil, nice. So 9 entries for Germany. Okay, how many entries are there for France? 4. Okay. So this is a manual data, just like think of it as your college expenses. Okay, and in order to understand what is this data is telling us about, you are going in a manual way. You have to count it manually, how many entries are there, how much amount it's taking, what is the number of sales, complete sale amount. You have to summation to do all those things, right? So in order to do this, you have to spend a lot of time. That is manual intervention. So this is just a one piece of sheet. What if for a business like let's say there is a car showroom. So for a car showroom, they will be having different models, different price ranges, okay, different variants, okay. At the end of the month, that car business would like to understand how many cars that we have sold of this particular segment. Okay, let's say somebody name some car. Verna, Hyundai. So in Verna there will be base model, medium variant, top variant. So we need to understand for this month, July, how many Verna pieces that I sold. Okay, how many customers that are actually placed an order. Okay, how many base variants have been sold off, how many top variant orders received. Okay, what is the total profit that I have gained, right? So these are all business data. Okay, so that is for one showroom. So now think it in a bigger picture. How many such Hyundai showrooms are there in Hyderabad alone? Give it a thought. 20? 25? Okay. How many Hyundai showrooms are there in total of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh? Let's say 500. How many are there in India? 20,000. Okay, that's a random guesses. That's good. So for each store, there will be this much amount of data where he wanted to calculate certain details. And Hyundai is a very big company. And as a company that I wanted to know, for example, Verna is newly launched, let's say, and I am expecting to sell off 20,000 units in India alone for this particular quarter, for 3 months of duration. But I did not sell. What is it telling you? What does it tell you? You have launched a product, and that product did get sold as per your expectation. What does it tell? It's a failure. So will you be able to come to that conclusion without looking at data? No. So that's where the data analytics is coming into your picture. Okay, so data is just raw. It's like let me give you, I give you a lot of examples. If you are uncomfortable, let me know. Okay, so let's say you wanted to build a house. Okay, what do you want for building a house?
Site.
One by one. Sand, site, concrete. It's okay. చెప్పండి ఏదో ఒకటి చెప్పండి పర్లేదు. Builder, engineer, blueprint, amount, cash, very good. Furniture, workers. Okay, so all these things are individual commodities, raw materials. Okay, so site is something which is very important. Concrete, steel, bricks, this is also important. And workers, engineer to prepare a plan, this is also important. These are all scattered. Okay, these are all individual entities. You cannot just sit at your site. You cannot just think of some engineer will come to me and give a plan. No. You cannot just think that some worker will come to me and offer me, he will provide the steel, bricks, cement. No. You have to go and work with all these parties and bring them everyone into one single platform. So that's all a single business. Okay, so let's say building home is a project. So in order to complete that project, you need to have a lot of people work together. So that is simple corporate culture. Okay, so in order to complete this, you need to have raw materials. Let's say, okay, so raw materials is like data for Power BI. Without raw materials, you're not going to do anything. You cannot do anything. And then there is building. Building means construction. That is like modeling. Okay, so after this data and modeling, and then you will have to do interiors. So అర్థమవుతుందా చెప్తున్నది? Okay. So నీకు బిల్డింగ్ అయిపోయింది, స్ట్రక్చర్ ఇస్ కంప్లీట్, స్ట్రక్చర్ ఇస్ దేర్, యూ నీడ్ టు కంప్లీట్ యువర్ ఇంటీరియర్. సో ఇన్ దిస్ is all Power BI way I am just talking about. So just for your simple understanding. So once your modeling is done, then what do you do? Interior is like visualization. So మామూలు ఇంటీరియర్ ఎందుకు తీసుకుంటాం? సో దిస్ ఈజ్ ఆల్ ఇంటీరియర్. సో ఇంటీరియర్ ఉంటే you will be able to have a clear picture. You will be able to understand it clearly. What is it? How it looks? Okay. With the way it looks cool, you will be able to understand, okay, this is a nice place to live in. So this particular report is giving me a cool story so that I can understand something, right? So this is simplest flow for Power BI. Okay. So let me come back to what Power BI is. So let's take this sheet again. So as you are seeing, there are numbers. So business is any business, for that matter, any business is going to comprise with a lot of numbers. Okay, how many units sold, what is the profit, what is the loss, how many what is the number of sales that I have procured, what is the date of that unit being sold, quarterly sales. Okay, so this is one kind of a sample data. I wanted to give you this data so that you will be able to understand how the business data looks like. Okay, so with the representation of business data, you will be able to understand how to come to a conclusion. Without coming to a conclusion, you could not be able to tell a story to your business. So for example, మీరు మీ పేరెంట్స్కి చెప్పాలి అని అంటే 2000 ఇచ్చిన ఏం చేసినావు అని అంటారు, దానికి చేసిన, దీనికి చేసిన, దానికి చేసిన, దీనికి చేసిన. యూ హ్యావ్ టు షో ద ప్రూఫ్, రైట్? నేను లాస్ట్ వీక్ నేను గోవా వెళ్ళినా అని చెప్తారు. ఓకే, సో గోవా వెళ్ళినా అంటే యూ హ్యావ్ టు షో ద ప్రూఫ్ దట్ నువ్వు లేదు అబద్ధం చెప్తున్నావు అంటే, లేదు నేను గోవా వెళ్ళినా మా ఫ్రెండ్స్ తోటి. సీ ద పిక్చర్స్, that tells a story. So that is like, it's nothing but data. Okay, and you would like to ask for records money, you have to show the proof. So it's like just imagine it as like your parents are your business sponsors, you are working you on your own business. In order to get your capital, you are presenting the data. So that's the simplest form. Okay, so in order to get this kind of a representation done, Power BI is a powerful tool to get this data analytics in a simple single place. Okay, so far ఏమన్నా క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉన్నాయా, ఏమన్నా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయా? ఇంకా నేను పవర్ బిఐలోకి వెళ్ళలేదు, బట్ ఇఫ్ యూ హ్యావ్ ఎనీ క్వశ్చన్స్, యూ ఆర్ ఏబుల్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ వాట్ ఐమ్ ట్రైంగ్ టు సే. ఆర్ యూ కంఫర్టబుల్ విత్ మై ఎక్స్ప్లెనేషన్? Okay, any questions so far? Cool. Okay, let's get back into the business. So Power BI అనేది ఇట్స్ అ సింపుల్ yet పవర్ఫుల్ టూల్. డేటా చెప్పాలి అంటే with a simple sheet of data or simple Excel data, you cannot be able to go to some business people and ask them to analyze yourself. This is what I found, and I need this much capital. Anybody have seen Shark Tank? ఎవరైనా షార్క్ ట్యాంక్ చూసారా? ఓకే, షార్క్ ట్యాంక్లో ఎలా ఉంటుంది? యూ విల్ ప్రపోజ్ అ బిజినెస్ ఐడియా and you will propose a beautiful charts, okay, presentations, beautiful pie chart, beautiful graphs. Okay, with that they will be able to convince the yes, so this much sales I will be able to procure and all. So in order to get that done in a business area, Power BI is a tool. Okay, ఈ డేటాని ఇప్పుడు ఈ డేటా ఉంది కదా, so okay, let's say this is total sales. Okay, ఈ షీట్లో ఉన్న సమ్మరీ ఇది ఫర్ జర్మనీ. Okay, and if I am giving there as a drop down, I click here and select France. Okay, and it is going to change all these fields automatically. I don't have to do anything. It's a simple drag and drop. So all this data is available for me in one of the data sources. I drag that data into my Power BI. This is Power BI. Okay, and I am preparing this report, and this is my drop down selection where I am going to select the countries. I selected Germany, and total entries for Germany is 9. And this is the sales prediction, like it's here is 1 million, 1.5 million, it's 2 million. Okay, up to month February, this is January. So which is easy to understand, is this one or that one?
Graph.
Interaction is important. Speak up. Okay. Will you be able to see this kind of a representation in Excel? Yes, you can, but this is evolutionized format in Power BI. Excel lo ila cheyadam anta easy kaadu. Yeah, graphs and all you can be able to prepare, but you cannot share. You cannot share it with your colleagues. Okay, em perana marchaya. Sharan. Mastan, right? Sharath. Okay. So Excel lo cheyochu. But let's say నీ పేరు ఏంటమ్మా? Gulshan. Yeah. So let's say Gulshan wants to see that data. How are you going to share it with Gulshan? How are you going to share? Are you going to send that complete file to her? Let's say that file is 1 MB, 2 MB. It's not a problem, you will share. Let's say that file is of 1 GB. It's a problem. Can you be able to share it with Gulshan? Okay, let's say, yeah.
Parallel computing. We can use parallel computing also.
That's where cloud comes into the picture. And Power BI is a cloud analytics tool. Okay, so that's a very good concept. Nice. So let's say if I have this report prepared out of this data, and it is easy to present this data to my business. Let's say, see, this Power BI tool is basically invented for business decisions. It's not for developers. I mean, it is for developers to work. Okay, it's not for developers, means it is, but it is mainly for the business people, for the management people. Okay, I provide this complete Excel data. I provide this complete data from SQL, MongoDB, okay, or some Redshift databases. There are a lot of databases in the market right now. So if I tell them that there is your data, you see this data, and this is something that I figured out. If you are explaining them, they are not going to believe you. They want a solid proof. How are you telling me this story? Okay, so based on your data available in our company, I prepared this report, sir. So for the country Germany, where we are trying to sell Hyundai cars, 1.1 million is been expected in January, and we have sold 1.5 million in February, and we are expecting to sell off 2 million in March. Okay, this is going to tell a very easy story for them to believe in. Okay, so this is, it's like a simple drag and drop. You don't have to do much with respect to Power BI. So far clear? Any questions? Perfect. So let's move on. So I personally look at Power BI is in a great place in market right now. Okay, because Power BI is not just an analytics tool. It is having a lot of scope with respect to development. It is having a lot of scope with respect to administration and with respect to business as well. Okay, I am a business person. I want to look at data. Power BI is my go-to tool. You are a development person and you work with data. Power BI is your go-to tool. And there is a role for administrators to control certain aspects in Power BI. Okay, so there are desktop, service, mobile. So Power BI is having 3 major components. Okay, where you will be used Power BI in desktop, Power BI desktop, Power BI service, and Power BI mobile. So Power BI desktop is for those who wants to develop reports. Reports and dashboards. So this is a representation of a report or a dashboard. So this report మీరు develop చేయాలంటే Power BI desktop లోనే చేయగలం. So this is a one tool where we can do this. Okay, another one is Power BI service. This tool is mainly for share. Okay, so you're pointing it out, cloud computing, parallel sharing, parallel computing. This is where it happens, because Power BI desktop is sitting in your computer. Power BI service is a cloud, so you can access simply via your web browser, Chrome, Edge, Safari. Okay, I just know these browsers. If you know anything else, I don't know. Okay, so sharing is one major feature which gets which adds value, a lot of value with Power BI, because sharing is caring, right? So if you share your reports with some of your colleagues, they will be able to add your insights. They will be able to add their suggestions. This is looking good, this is not looking good, and you will be able to tell a story to your business. Correct. And mobile is simply consuming. It's like just a consumption. Let's say Charan. Okay, let's say Charan is the CEO of the company. Okay, Mastan and Sharath and Gulshan and what's your name? Hariprasad. These four guys are developers. Okay, and Charan travels a lot to meet his clients, and he wants to look at the data before meeting the client. He cannot call Mastan, he cannot call Sharath, say like, hey, how many units we have sold in the month of February, and he cannot just take a note. Okay, he might be in a flight going to Mumbai, going to US. Okay, he wants to have this data ready for him, so that while representing the company and while interacting with the customers, he can be able to just pull out his mobile and look at the data. Okay, this is what we have seen, this is what we have done. Okay, and this is where we are forecasting certain things. So mobile is where you can access your Power BI, where you can access your Power BI reports or dashboards in an easy way. You don't have to pull up your laptop and every time go to that report and see, this is what I want, but I'm not able to find it. Mastan, where is it? So you don't have to bother other people. You can be able to consume it in a simple way. Okay, so these are the simple three components. Okay, is this clear so far? Any questions? Yeah.
Sir, so basically Power BI will form a report according to the previous data.
Yes.
So what's the difference between this and algorithm used in machine learning?
It can forecast.
I think even machine learning can also predict the future moves. No?
Correct. And machine learning, do you have any direct tools to show your data?
For predictions, machine learning uses Hadoop. Hadoop uses HDFS for storage, and it can access through it. And using certain algorithms, it can predict the future moves.
Correct.
And by using the previous data. So it may be wrong or it may be right. It's
correct.
Completely depending on the situations we take. Depends on the strategies we implement in them.
Correct.
So what's the main difference between them? Means, is this easy to use or is that complicated in application?
Both. So Power BI is pretty easy to use. It's very easy to use. And as you're saying, machine learning is something for those who understand the data science. Okay. So if you are able to understand this data science, you are able to build machine learning models, you are able to feed these models with all this data, then you can be able to predict the future patterns. It's not like you can understand, analyze everything in that and give me what it is. It's not like just throw and give me something. It's not like that, right? You have to build the models. You have to build this machine learning models to understand what is happening in this, so that it could come to a conclusion with a basic analysis of all this data available for that model, and then it will come to give you a kind of a future result. What is the forecast of this in coming next quarter or 6 months? So machine learning is a very interesting concept, but it is complicated. But Power BI, on the other hand, it is easy. It is very easy to learn. It is very easy to explore. And if you wanted to get into the data analytics career, this tool is number one choice for all of you. Okay, so that is where I strongly recommend you to go with this. Okay, so any questions? Okay, cool. So is that clear, or did I answer your question? Cool. So let me take off this chart. So Power BI desktop, service, mobile, that is fine. So now let's come to this development part. This is where all the show business happens. Okay, in order to build a movie, you have to shoot, you have to edit, you have to add music, everything, right? So that is all happens in desktop area. So learning the desktop is what adds value to the Power BI. Okay, so let's say input data, and transform data, and then visualize data. Okay, am I going fast, slow?
No, sir.
You're able to understand fine, right? Okay. So this data is input. Okay. So without having anything, you cannot go anywhere. With the data, you can start, right? So input is like, it can be in many formats, like it could be in Excel sheets, it could be in SQL tables, it could be in Azure platform, Azure AS, Azure SQL, it could be on AWS, it could be on IBM Impala. Okay, these are just few to name for. There are around 200 plus data sources that Power BI can support. So there is one question that I generally get. Sir, in order to understand and in order to work with Power BI, do I have to know all these 200 resources, 200 data sources? Does that question rise in any of your brains? Okay, the answer is no. You don't have to. You are just a professional who is working in Power BI. You don't have to know everything about how to get this done. So let's come back to our house example. Okay, so you have given the data. This is my area. This is my site, and your engineer comes and draws the plan, blueprint. Does he have to know how to mix the cement? No. Does he have to know where the cement manufactures? No. Does he have to know where we are going to get these bricks? So that's a simple way to answer. Okay, now you understood, right? In order to work with Power BI, do you need to know all these 200 plus data sources? No, you just need to be proficient enough to how to pull this data, how to connect to this, how to pull this. Once it is loaded into Power BI, you will do your work. This is where your job starts, transformation. Okay, if you ask me what is transformation, let's say one way to say that, but it's not completely converting. It's like let's say t-shirt. Okay, t-shirt is in a raw form, like it's a big piece of cloth. In order to get this into my requirement, I need to take the measurements first, I need to cut the piece first, and then I need to send it to the tailors to stitch it. So this is what is called transformation. So this data will be in a raw format. Okay, this is how this data is like. For example, let's say gross sales and sales price is there. Sales price is not changing anywhere. Okay, sales price for Germany and Canada is $20, France and Germany is $15 for different products, for different amount of sales that is been sold off. I don't need this sale price, so I cannot remove it on the data source side, because probably for the data basis that is needed, but for my report that is not needed. So I can remove that in the transformation. You understood? So you will be able to structure your data as per your requirement. Okay, so that is where the transformation comes into picture. It's like you will pull data from Excel, you will pull data from SQL, you will pull data from Azure SQL, Azure AS, all these 4 data sources at one time only, and you will relate all these in a single data set. Okay, these are all data sources. Just try to get familiar with the terms. These are all sources, data sources. So once we transform, we are going to create a data model or data set. Okay, so this data set is like a simple whatever, like ikkada 2000 rows unnai, ikkada 1 million rows unnai, ikkada some 2 million rows unnai, ikkada let's say around 150 rows unnai. So these are all different ways. Everything needs to be communicated and everything needs to come together, right? So adi transformation lo avutundi, and transformation place lo you will create a data model. So it's not like this data comes from Excel, this data comes from Azure AS, this data comes from SQL. You don't differentiate that. You will combine everything under one umbrella here. So ikkadiki vachin tarvata that is going to become a Power BI model. It's not going to be Excel data, it's not going to be SQL data. సో అందరినీ ఒక దగ్గర గుంజి యూనిఫామ్ వేసినట్టు లెక్క. ఓకేనా? సో ట్రాన్స్ఫర్మేషన్ ఇస్ సంథింగ్ వేర్ a lot of magic happens. Okay, next one is visualizing. So let's go back to our which example you prefer, t-shirt example or home example? I want to hear from those people in the back. Which example is easy for you? House. Okay, house. This house thing is like transformation is like you have built all your structure. Okay, you have built your walls, you have built your doors and everything, you have built your windows, but you have to make it a presentable way. Okay, so that's where the interior comes into the picture, right? You have to paint your walls, you have to add lights, you have to decorate bedrooms. Okay, you have to add a TV cabinet, you have to add cupboards. Okay, that's all comes into visualization, so that when the seller or the buyer comes into that house, they will see and they will understand, okay, this house is having a quality, this house is telling me a story to stay here, buy this. Okay, that is where the visualization comes in. So this data is there and the data is going to tell you a story about business. For example, in this one, it's a sales, it's profits, number of units, dates. Okay, simple drag and drop things. It's a simple drag and drop things, but it is going to be require a lot of not a lot of, it's a kind of thinking. You need to do a lot of thinking to pull which one to which area. So you will be able to present this in a visualization format, so that it is going to tell you a story. Okay, so any questions so far? Do you